name is Gwen, and today we're picking up where we left off with Marvel's Moon Knight. Who else could we be talking about today than the infamous Devourer of the Dead, Eater of Hearts, and the Great Death, all names used to describe the ancient Egyptian goddess Ammit. So we're going to talk a little bit about her origin story in both mythology and pop culture today, specifically in Marvel's latest series, Moon Knight. So let's jump right into it. In a previous episode, we talked a little bit about Khonshu and the similarities and differences between him and his Egyptian mythological counterpart. Now with Ammit, a lot of changes were made to make for a more mysterious and engaging storyline within the MCU. But there are like so many questions running through my mind right now, like what is this scarab that keeps popping out throughout the series? It even serves as like a compass that leads to Ammit's tomb. So what is this and what are all of these differences? So you know what? I'm gonna stop talking and let's jump right into it. But wait, before we continue, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and let me know down below if you like the changes made to Ammit. Also, if there are any other horrors, myths, creatures, monsters you want me to research and do a video on, just let me know down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you like the content that we're putting out. Thank you very much, and let's get back to the video. Ammit is a goddess mentioned in the Book of the Dead. Ooh, sounds creepy. So what is this Book of the Dead? The Book of the Dead is actually a papyrus scroll written for ancient Egyptians to take with them into the afterlife. Something like a guide for safe passage while traversing the Doat, realm of the Underworld. The Book of the Dead contains magic spells and prayers. It also allows the spirit to overcome monsters and the locked gates of the Doat, which is an obstacle one must overcome before arriving at the halls of Mayat. This is where spirits are judged whether they've lived a righteous life or not. A spirit is judged by weighing their hearts against a feather on a scale. This is done by the god Anubis. Ammit appears next to Anubis and is described to have the front legs of a lion, hind legs of a hippo, and the head of a crocodile. These are three of the largest man-eating animals known to ancient Egyptians, thus a nightmare to be reckoned with. If the heart is weighed to be heavier than the feather, which, I mean, we're talking about a feather here, so if it's heavier, the monstrous Ammit devours it, and that being ceases to exist. If the spirit passes the test, they will be brought in front of Osiris, god of the underworld, for final judgment, and whether or not they'll be allowed to enter the field of reeds, where they will spend the rest of their lives cultivating their plot of land and living a happy, happy life. Of course, one may be thinking, how the heck is anyone that pure of heart? There's like no way. Even I am not that pure of heart, clearly. Like, I'm human. I have like killed multiple ants. I've told many white lies and like fought with my siblings or like be mean to my parents. What is this truth serum working on me right now? I'm just gonna stop myself right there. But how could anyone pass the scales of judgment? Well, this is where a little scarab will come in handy to save you from the god Anubis, the scales of judgment, and even from the jaws of Ammit. But I'm going to touch on that a little later on, so stick around. Marvel actually made an interesting twist to Moon Knight, switching up Ammit's roles from Devourer of Souls to Judge. So now Ammit judges unworthy and worthy souls using the scales. You can tell on Arthur Harrow's tattoo that there are now two crocodile heads, signifying that Ammit has transcended from executioner to judge. The story quotes, "The justice of Ammit surveys the whole of our lives, past, present, future. She knows what we've done and what we will do," signifying that Ammit has taken judgment into her own hands. Hey, this actually sounds quite similar to another Marvel organization, the TVA from the Loki series. So the TVA actually captures variants that commit crimes on the sacred timeline. You can watch our Loki video over here. Now back to Ammit. So in the first episode of Moon Knight, during an exhibition that takes place in the middle of town, Arthur Harrow judged a woman who confesses she has never done anything bad in her life. However, the scales measure her heart to be heavier than a feather. Harrow, who is the avatar of Ammit, drains the old woman of her life force, passing judgment that she is unworthy before her time. even before she has committed any crime. This is the twist within the MCU that differs from the comics and the Egyptian myth. In the comics, Ammit never played judge and executioner. In fact, the character closely resembles the original Egyptian myth. Ammit, or Ammit in the comics, serves Mayat in the Underworld. Ammit eats the souls of the unworthy after being judged by the scales of judgment, and thus dubbed the Eater of the Dead. She is also incredibly fond of riddles, so if her victims don't answer her correctly, she eats them. What? I'm gonna go brush up on my riddles, like, just in case. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm gonna go do that. Well, Ammit also shows up in the 2016 run of Marvel's Moon Knight issue 2 as Dr. Emmett, which the MCU draws inspiration from for episode 4 in the series, where Harrow appears to be a psychiatrist to Mark in the Doat. The change in Ammit's character in the series is due to the quote given by Arthur Harrow that she grew weary of having to wait for sinners to commit their crime before punishing them. Could it be that Ammit is so power hungry, or just purely hungry for more, that she could no longer wait for the judgments to be passed before she is asked to execute them? Or is it that Ammit is just sick and tired of the gods that are higher in hierarchy of the Egyptian pantheon? Or perhaps she was betrayed by her fellow gods. Maybe Khonshu betrayed her. Hell hath no fury like a goddess scorned. Also, who was her avatar before Arthur Harrow? Please let there be a season 2. It's so good! Now let's talk about the little scarab that shows up everywhere and you're like, hey, this seems like it's important. And it is. It has close ties to mythology and Ammit. Along with the Book of the Dead, a scarab is often buried and placed on top of the deceased's heart. The scarab functions as an amulet that prevents the heart from betraying itself by revealing any minor wrongdoings of the spirit that is being judged. The scarab is enchanted with spells and runes written on it to prevent the heart from confessing any wrongdoings, especially at the stage when Anubis is weighing the heart against the feather. If the scarab successfully protected its owner from being unworthy during the judgment, Ammit will not be able to devour the soul, thus saving the spirit from its demise. And with that, we've come to the end of our tale about Ammit. Have you caught up with our latest videos? Click here if you want to watch our video on Khonshu, and click here if you want to watch our video on Southeast Asian myths and horror stories. It's pretty scary, so... Anyways, as always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated to all of our latest videos. And remember, don't look at the demon. I'll see you guys next time.